said, I can't see the date on it. It's 19.
Right, welcome to the stream everyone. Today we're doing commentary for Aston Villa versus Everton. Getting kicked off in 6 minutes, we're just going to go through the lineups and then put on the commentary. So, lineups in, let me just get up an app that shows the formation as well so I can see where everyone's actually playing. Right, so the team news. Aston Villa, the home team, playing a 4-1-4-1 with Heaton in goal, Mings and Engels at centre-back. Taylor is left-back, Gilbert is right-back, Douglas Luiz at centre-mid, no CDM with McGinn and Grealish at centre-mid, Jota left-mid, Trezeguet right-mid and Wesley up top. On the bench for them, they have Lansbury, Steer, Harry Hayne, Konsa, El Ghazi, El Mohammadi and Davis. And then for Everton, they are playing a 4-2-3-1 with Pickford in goal, Mina and Keane centre-back, Coleman right-back, Digne left-back, Gomez and Schneiderlin at CDM, Sigurdsson in the middle, Richarlison on the left, Bernard on the right and Calvert-Lewin up top. With Holgate, Walcott, Iwobi, Sidibe, Stecklenburg, Davies and Moise Keane on the bench. Two decent sides. My prediction is 1-1. I think Villa could get a point today. Don't know why the stream's not showing up anywhere. Showing up now. Cody Brown, welcome to the stream. 4 minutes till kick off. We'll just look at the league table, see where each team's can finish. Alright. Everton could go top of the league if they win on 7 points. If they draw, they go third. If they lose, they stay ninth. And then Villa, they win, they go either 10th or 11th or 12th. And then if they lose, they go in the relegation zone. If they draw, they go 15th. So Everton go top league, Aston Villa can go like top 10. That's what I see. We'll look at the other fixtures as well tomorrow and Sunday. So tomorrow, Norwich v Chelsea. I'm probably not going to do commentary for. I might though, I'm not too sure. But then we got Brighton, Southampton, Man U, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Leicester and Watford, West Ham. So I'm going to do either Sheffield United, Leicester or Watford, West Ham for the commentary at 3. And then got Arsenal, Liverpool, or Liverpool, Arsenal. 5:30 kickoff, which I'm going to be doing. And then Sunday we have 3 games: Bournemouth, Man City, which I'll most likely do. And then Tottenham, Newcastle, and Wolves, Burnley. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do. Probably Wolves, Burnley, because it's the least popular out of them. So I'll most likely do that. But we'll have to wait and see. But Will, welcome to the stream. 1 minute till kickoff. Who are Leeds playing on the weekend? They're playing like Stoke, aren't they? Yeah, Stoke. I'll most likely do... They're playing Stoke as well on Tuesday. I might do that. But I think Nottingham Forest Derby's on that day, so I might not. So I'll potentially do Leeds Stoke in the EFL Cup. I'm not too sure though. It depends if... it depends what games have commentary for on the website I use. If they do, then I'll most likely... well, I'll possibly do that, but I'm not too sure. But we've got 1 minute till kickoff. I'm just going to quickly look at what games there are on during the international break. I'm assuming it's international break. Monday... I don't even know. EFL Trophy. I'll do EFL Trophy if it gives commentary for. I know it's only League 1, League 2 and under-21s teams, but I'll do that. If they have commentary for it. And then Thursday, Newport, West Ham, I guess. And it's just international games. But I'm going to put on the commentary now. Wherever it is. Haven't even got it up ready yet. Game started 50 seconds ago. I'm going to put on the commentary. If you want to see more Aston Villa Everton commentaries, hit the subscribe button. And hopefully you guys enjoy the commentary.
Actually played really well against Tottenham for the first hour, and they were, I think, just undone by fatigue more than anything. Then a couple of lapses in concentration against Bournemouth cost them dear. Coleman down the line, inside ball, only finds Douglas Luiz. Then Richarlison with a sliding challenge. Will be an Aston Villa ball in their left back area, but decent start to this game. Always seems to be good fixtures on a Friday evening. I'll take you through the lineups in full then. For Villa, it's Heaton in goal, a back four of Gilbert, the debutant, Engels, Mings and Taylor. Midfield trio of Louise, McGinn and Grealish, with Trezeguet and Hotter flanking record signing Wesley. For Everton, Pickford in goal. Usual back four really, I suppose. Yet to concede a goal this season. Marco Silva's men in the 1-0 win over Watford and 0-0 draw at Crystal Palace. Pickford in goal, then Coleman, Keane, Mina and Digne the back four. Schneidel in that one change with Andre Gomez in the middle of the park. Richarlison, Sigurdsson and Bernard the goal scorer against the Hornets behind Calvert-Lewin. Here is Bernard down the left hand side. Digne, who had that knock, had to come off against Watford, fit tonight and wins his side a corner kick in front of the Villa fans in the Holt end. Of course, we all know how they want this one to end, but Villa need to get the basics right, you feel. new side pretty much, 12 new faces in the dressing room over the summer, and it'll be those basics that carry them through, you feel. It's Digne's ball, it's not the best, it's away by Neil Taylor. Bernard whips a deep ball in, there's bodies up there, good punch by Tom Heaton. Douglas Luiz has to deal with it, there's a man on the ground. Heaton, I think he caught Mings pretty much square in the jaw. He's rolled over onto his side by Heaton. Mings is getting up, but well, he stayed down, maybe as a precaution. He was taking his time, as you'd expect. He just caught the elbow of Heaton. He had his back to him, and Heaton jumps up and just catches his defender. I think, fingers crossed, it's going to be okay. But of course, concussion's not something you can take a chance with. Mings, though, is a huge player for Villa, one of the few players they've got with Premier League experience. Dean Smith looks on anxiously. Look at the bench this evening. They do have Ezri Konsa who could come on, but looks like Mings is going to be okay, as Heaton now finds the left-footed central defender. He'll knock a long ball, looking for Wesley. His tussle with Michael Keane and Yerry Mina is going to be crucial this evening. Wesley still going, well played by him, but the ball's got away from him. There's a foul by Gilbert, who may be lucky to no, he's not got the benefit of the doubt from Michael Oliver. Yellow card for the debutant. He's going to have to be careful now. Well, a big night for him. Wesley just overran the ball. It was good play by Richarlison, actually tracking back. Bernard knocked it past him, and the arm came across. The Brazilian, I think, was happy to take it, but his opposite number, the defender's going to have a long evening now, you feel. Mina. Everton just trying to play the way into the game, and I mean, taking 4 points from the first couple of fixtures, you've got to think they'll fancy themselves this evening, Rob.
Yeah, definitely. They'll fancy the chances. Villa, of course, have struggled a little bit, made a couple of mistakes. They played all right against Bournemouth last week, but the damage done in the opening 12 minutes. Lovely little back in with Richarlison, goes down in the box. Referee pointing to a goal kick. There was a coming together. I think there was contact, but it's one of those where I'm sure plenty will be thinking there wasn't enough contact for him to go down, but certainly a talking point already.
Yeah, penalty shout. It's Grealish, isn't it? I think it's one of those where Richarlison makes sure he's big, he makes sure he's waiting for the contact, and he's happy to take it. I'm going to say not enough for me. Michael Oliver was on the spot. Arguably the best referee in the Premier League, the 34-year-old from Ashington, and he was happy with his call. Long clearance by Heaton, headed by Keane. Grealish picks up the pieces, dances past 3-4 shirts, and plays a good ball out to Gilbert. Inside by him, switch of play is a good one. Trezeguet now, the Egyptian, on the left-hand side. Little ball inside, I think he was looking for Neil Taylor, but it was intercepted. Forward ball, Calvert-Lewin's isolated, and Engels will come away with it for Villa. Gilbert down the line, long hanging ball, and he will find McGinn, who's made a good intelligent run from midfield, hooks it across towards Wesley. Wesley controls it, miscontrols it. Schneiderlin's there. It's really frantic stuff at the moment. Eventually Sigurdsson takes control, and Digne will go long, and Calvert-Lewin's got the wrong side of Engels and needs to hold it up. He was isolated before. What can he do now, the former Sheffield United man? Bringing bodies into play. One of those is Bernard. He'll go back to Digne. There's 5 or 6 shirts ahead of him. Schneiderlin now in the centre of the park. Thought about switching it, maybe should have, but didn't. And Andre Gomez goes all the way back to Yerry Mina, and well, patient play by Everton. But a couple of times this found Calvert-Lewin isolated.
Yeah, need to get a support up to him a little bit quicker. They have retained the ball. He hasn't lost it since then, but they've been content to move it around. Bernard's picked up a little bit of space on the edge of the box, and he's allowed to turn as well, but the cross takes a deflection and Villa can clear. But it's certainly a lively start to the game, tempo-wise, pace from both sides. I would say, I reckon Everton are just looking a fraction more dangerous, although John McGinn chasing down a lost cause, and all of a sudden there was an opportunity at the other end, but Wesley, it was a difficult ball to control, but he barely got a touch on it, and Everton were able to scramble it clear. But you certainly, I think you'd like the tempo to it, both sides showing a willingness to try and get forwards, but obviously chances, we haven't really had one as yet.
Absolutely, as Andre Gomez now on the halfway line, trying to quarterback the team round the field, and that inside left position he likes so much. Mina's ball forward is just about controlled by Sigurdsson, and Mings has smashed it up into the air, but he caught Engels with the follow through, and well, the defender, this could be the end of his evening, because Mings didn't miss. Fortunately, Engels knows what's going on. Just going to see it again. A lack of communication, and it's actually, I think, the knee of Mings that catches his defensive partner. But Mings has already gone down. He was caught by Heaton. Engels is down now, flat on his back. They have Esri Konsa on the bench, but they're trying to build this defensive partnership, and it's not going to help with the kicking each other.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to help, particularly injury disruptions, because they have struggled a little bit, certainly at times. I mean, Bournemouth, okay, they got a few lucky sort of bounces in that first half, but they were tearing Villa open in the second half and could have easily added to the 2-1 scoreline. But this will certainly be a worry. There has been talk that Mings might be in line for an England call-up potentially. I think Gareth Southgate's running the rule over Mings as one, and certainly Grealish as another. Gareth Southgate, of course, former Villa player, and he'll be announcing a squad soon. Tyrone Mings actually looks alright, stood next to his partner. Because he doesn't look so worried, I'm thinking Engels might be okay, but...
he looked very good when he got up there. He had a bit of a wobble about, didn't he?
Tom Heaton's having a joke, so he's clearly alright, you would think.
Yeah, well, that was just a basic case of communication, or communication breakdown. Yeah, Mings rather is a bit of a rare commodity, I suppose, a left-footed centre-half, an old-school centre-half as well, only sees the ball, and could add something different to Gareth Southgate's squad. We've not seen the England manager, but it'd be a good one, I think, for him to be at, with the likes of Michael Keane and Jordan Pickford on the other side as well. Rob mentioned Mings and Grealish as potential options. Just looking maybe even Calvert-Lewin as a front man for Southgate. He's not afraid to take players out of the under-21s, or players who've just graduated from the 21s into the full side. Engels is back on his feet, a couple of deep breaths. I think he'll be okay.
Yeah, Konsa's been going through some warming up on the touchlines, but Engels is being allowed back on. He's running back onto the pitch after that little bit of treatment, so brief stoppage in play, game back underway.
Frantic start to the game at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Everton. It remains goalless though. Had a penalty shout for the toughest. Richarlison going down under pressure from Jack Grealish. Didn't seem a lot in it. Michael Oliver's happy to point for the goal kick. Villa though have almost been the architects of their own downfall twice. Tyrone Mings got one in the face from Tom Heaton as he was clearing the ball. Then Mings himself kicked Bjorn Engels in the face, but unfortunately his defensive partner was okay. Had a couple of stoppages. Also had a yellow card for Frederick Gilbert for a foul on Bernard. He's on debut. He'll have to be careful now. As things stand, it's 0-0.
Yeah, more defending for Villa to do, because Richarlison is allowed to run from his own half. Got a shot which deflected well wide for a corner, but it's another set piece and it's played to the edge of the box. Dinny with the shot coming back in. It was a bit of a scramble, a bit of pinball. Eventually cleared away. I'm not sure if a flag might have gone up for offside had Richarlison put it in the back of the net. And the flag is up, so clearly no advantage for Aston Villa. But it's just one of those floated balls into the D. And there's a left-footed volley, not quite off the meat of the foot, as it were. And it looks as though there's 4 or 5 Everton players actually offside. And having said that, Tyrone Mings got a block in. The one claret and blue shirt back there who got a block in. Then, of course, there's a bit of panic, but 5 Everton players offside. And so that chance will never quite materialise. But nicely worked corner in there. Not a bad strike at the target.
Yeah, it was a good strike, wasn't it? It was just a shame that it looked like the corner taker and Luca Digne, they were on the same wavelength, but the rest of the blue shirts ball watching a bit and caught themselves offside. Back to Jordan Pickford now. Yerry Mina, who's been talking about what a big influence Marco Silva has been for him over the summer. Returned from the Copa America with Colombia, reaching the quarter-finals there, and has worked really hard with the coach after a mixed first season in England, I think it's fair to say, following his big move from Barcelona. Here is Richarlison. Thinks about knocking the ball, and eventually it's a good ball as well. Mings with a header at the near post. And, well, Tom Heaton tells Hotter he's got a bit of time. It wasn't the best ball, though, by the Spaniard, crossing the second city, of course, from Birmingham. And then Keane tries to find Richarlison. Too much pace on the ball, though. Out for a goal kick. But certainly a pattern emerging to this game, with Everton dominating possession, but still to find that final ball.
Yeah, I mean, Villa have actually scored more goals than Everton this season, but obviously they've leaked plenty. Everton 4 points, looking to try and gate crash, is that the right word? The top six. They've obviously spent money. I think it's a pretty bright start for an away side. They've had shots at goal, they've had a penalty claim. Villa haven't had an awful lot to shout about at the other end, so Everton on top for me in the opening 14 minutes. But obviously they haven't found the breakthrough yet. Possession stats just flashed up, 64% in Everton's favour. No surprise there, although Richarlison's just played a poor pass back to the throw-in take at Coleman, and so Villa have a defensive throw in their own half.
Yeah, it's quite interesting looking at Everton this season. Got Schneidlin there as a holding midfielder, but you say Andre Gomes is more an attacking player. They've got Bernard, Sigurdsson, Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. Maybe a few question marks over Calvert-Lewin's goal record. I see Keane's on the bench this evening, as is Alex Iwobi. I think Keane may be introduced at some point, but they've certainly got the personnel to make that leap, haven't they? But I do wonder where the goal is going to come from on a consistent basis, at least.
Yeah, I mean, Calvert-Lewin needs to step up, doesn't he? Does he score enough goals? Obviously, they've tried others there as well, but Calvert-Lewin's leading the line today, and he's got pace, he's got a bit of height. But yeah, I don't think he quite scores enough. Gylfi Sigurdsson and Richarlison are their main goal threats, arguably. And Richarlison's, I suppose, got a free-ish role today. And of course, Sigurdsson's playing the head of the midfield. So they need a goal scorer to help them out in the tight games.
Yes, here is Calvert-Lewin breaking forward. He's got Bernard down the left-hand side. But of course, Bernard looks up and there's no Calvert-Lewin. Calvert-Lewin and Bernard has to search for Richarlison instead. It's over the top of him, and that's almost in a bit of a nutshell. It was a nice link-up play, wasn't it, by Calvert-Lewin, but because he passed it on, he was then 30 yards away from where he needed to be. Yeah,
I mean, Bernard scored the winner last week, didn't he? And the manager actually came out and said he needs to score more, so he's another one. Obviously he's trying to provide the assist, and just a little bit too underneath the attempted cross. I mean, it's not a bad matchup, Richarlison far post, but just too heavy, and it's behind for a goal kick. But more promise from an Everton viewpoint. And Villa, I mean, admittedly, they've cut out the mistakes that cost them last week against Bournemouth in the early stages, but they're certainly second best.
Yes, here is Andre Gomes breaking from midfield, plays it back off Jack Grealish for a throw into Everton, around about 40 yards from the Aston Villa goal on their right-hand side of the attack, taken by Seamus Coleman. Back to Gomes, who'll switch to play a looping ball, I must say that. Pretty direct ball, out of play, right on the halfway line, so it'll be a Villa throw to be taken by Gilbert. Got that early yellow card, but looked pretty tidy in possession so far. The debutant, he finds a teammate. It's switched across by John McGinn, always in the action, the Scot. Looks like a good move, doesn't it? I think his eyebrows were raised when he joined Aston Villa ahead of Celtic, but he helped. It was a big part of that playoff winning campaign. And now in the big time with the Villains, as Engels recovered from that earlier knock. Mings knocks it forward. The team going backwards there. Villa, then Trezeguet can't get anything on it. He was suggesting it was Villa ball, but there seems to be any variation on the flight, and always out for a throw-in on the far side. Seeing our first shots really of Dean Smith. Interesting job. I know it's a cliche, and I think everyone who's commentated on Villa this season has already said this, Rob, but it's easy to draw comparisons with what happened with Fulham. I think they've got players who suit them a bit better than Fulham, and I think, no disrespect to Slavisa Jokanovic, because you've got Dean Smith, who seems quite a sensible guy, I think they've got a better chance of staying up.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they have done a Fulham in the sense that they've spent the money, but I mean, they've got a manager, of course, is a Villa fan, so he's not going to try and do anything that isn't for the benefit of the club, not just throwing money willy-nilly. You would think that Wesley's got a big part to play this season, wouldn't you? I mean, they've spent a lot of money on him. They just need him to get in amongst the goals. I'm not saying one every game, one every 2 games might be asking a bit too much, but 15 goals a season, give them a chance. They've just got to get that goal threat. They've scored in both of their games so far. Unfortunately for them, it's not been Wesley who scored them.
Right hand side, battles to the Frenchman now, in towards the area, and Wesley there with a header over, wide as well. A lot hinged on his shoulders, like you say, was actually offside, and it's another cliche thing, score goals or stay up. Wesley's had his opportunities. You just hope for him more than anything that it doesn't keep missing them, because the longer it goes on without getting that goal, the more it will start to play on his mind. Yeah,
I mean, you look at Brighton's scoring record last season, just as an example. I mean, they haven't spent the money that, of course, Villa had, but, Glenn Murray, I mean, Brighton didn't score any goals, but they had Glenn Murray, who gave them a goal every so often. They nicked a win here, nicked a draw there, because they've got a regular goal scorer. Here are Everton on the attack, though.
Sigurdsson tries to find a teammate in the box, and it was blocked by Engels. Not quite sure what Hotter was doing there. Just let the ball go to Gomez. Digne can line up across, floats in. It's poor by Digne though, easily away by Engels. Hotter picks up the seconds, and a lovely turn actually by the Spaniard. He's still going. Bernard didn't quite fancy chasing him back. Advantage being played as well, and he'll pass it to no one. Unfortunately for him, Wesley will pick up the pieces, a bit like Calvert-Lewin. He's just out of position now, the Brazilian striker, and lacking options. He's done well to hold it up though. Well played by him. Back to Jack Grealish. Quiet so far, the Villa talisman, but he has it on the halfway line, and they'll go all the way back to Mings. And just then you wonder where Trezeguet was, maybe Grealish as well. They needed bodies around Wesley to give him an option. Unfortunately, he had to go backwards.
Yes, I mean, they really want Wesley in the middle, don't they? And Trezeguet one-on-one with a full-back perhaps, although Jota showed some good skills in the build-up to that. Obviously, it's his first start for Villa today, trying to make an impression, although there's an offside given actually against Gilbert down the right hand side. He wanted the pass earlier, trying to get in behind Digne, then kind of gave up that the pass wasn't coming, didn't stop running, and then the pass came to him, so he's definitely offside.
Remains a decent game at Villa Park, but still goalless between Aston Villa and Everton. At the Villa end, there was a bit of a scramble as Everton tried to score from a corner. It was poorly cleared. Eventually Tyrone Mings blasted away. There may have been a hint of offside as well. Villa have had a half decent chance. Maybe that's been a bit generous, but Wesley found a bit of space near post, headed it well wide. Offside seems to be a bit of an issue for the Villains. They are still a team looking to gel, you feel, and there's a lack of cohesion, shall we say. Everton looks smooth on the ball, but there are question marks over where their goals are going to come from this season. Not really freshening at the moment. It remains goalless.
Grealish has won a free kick and is taking it quickly. The free kick was only on the halfway line. Ball played in the box. Chance for Wesley. He slotted it across. Pickford. There is the opening goal. Has the flag gone up? They might check it. They will do now, of course, because of VAR. But that's a wonderful through ball, and Wesley might just have scored his first goal for Aston Villa. I'm sure there will be a VAR check, but the fans have gone mental. Villa have gone mental. They're second best in this game, but they currently lead. Nice little finish as well. Composure in front of Jordan Pickford, England's number one, but never looked like missing.
Yeah, poor play by Everton. It was a foul, wasn't it, on Grealish? Andre Gomez and Bernard just kind of stood still. Hotter, he just waits, It's a great run by Wesley. I think he's onside. The goal's gone up on the scoreboard. Of course, we had the reluctance until the kick off again. It's great play, Gilbert into Hotter, and a fantastic run by Wesley across his man. That's what he needs to be doing, and a fine finish as well.
Yeah, it's a lovely move involving the full-back. He's got up again. He looked a little bit frustrated that Jota didn't play the pass, but he's picked his man, Wesley. Everton tried to step up. He just has to beat the keeper, and that's exactly what he did. Never looked like missing. Villa 1, Everton 0.
Villa lead 1-0, and it's Wesley with his first goal in England following his summer move from Club Brugge. And it was a well-worked goal at that. It was a foul on Jack Grealish. Andre Gomez and Bernard went to sleep. No one stood on the ball. It allowed Grealish to get up, find a pass. It was Frederic Gilbert who had it wide to Jota. He just held the ball, held. No one pressed him at all. Wesley, a fantastic run across both Michael Keane and Yerry Mina. Then a cute finish past Jordan Pickford, sending the goalkeeper the wrong way. Before that, we were a bit worried about him because he'd missed a decent chance. But Wesley's off the mark for Villa. They lead 1-0.
Yeah, second best in the game, of course, but that just might shake things up. Everton looked in control. We mentioned the possession stats not long before the goal at 64% to the away side, and they were looking good, pushing, probing. But Jota, just prior to his assist for the goal, actually got involved with another good attack, breaking from inside his own half, and so he's starting to make an early impression for Aston Villa as Digne is penalised for a foul on McGinn inside the Villa half, so pushing pretty high up the pitch. That goal might just ramp up the urgency levels as far as Everton were concerned, because the tackles are going in now. Villa have got something to hold on to. I'm not sure I trust this defence though from what I saw last week, but still could be a chance. Wesley in behind again, he's held off, shot comes in, and Mina's got back to block the attempt, having been beaten initially. Good recovery from the Colombian. Wesley has it though, finds Jota near the corner flag, slip back through for Wesley, who's probably offside this time. Despite the whistle, he's tried to go near post and it's saved by Pickford, but all of a sudden Wesley's got an extra yard in his step.
Yeah, well, it's amazing what a goal can do, but I'm like you, Rob. I think they need another one, don't they, Villa, if they're going to win this game. And it's a bit of a strange one because I can't imagine Everton are going to score more than twice at a push, but he looks a good player, doesn't he, Wesley, in terms of his finishing hasn't been so great in the first few games, but he's a strong guy. He can win the ball in the air, he can run the challenge, got a decent pace, but I do worry about him being a bit over-eager, sometimes being caught offside. But here comes Richarlison.
Yeah, Mings gets a challenge in, and it's a fair challenge, says the referee. Richarlison doesn't like the decision. Played inside to Grealish, now out to the right-hand side, and Jota back into Grealish. The Villa talisman down the right-hand side. Bit of a blind alley at the moment, but he's able to just pirouette, find Jota again, who gets onto his left foot, swings it in towards the far post, and it will be kept alive, fired into the 6-yard box by McGinn. Popping up on that left edge of the area, too close to the keeper, and a comfy save for Pickford in the end. But Villa's starting to get some joy. No joy until the goal, really, but got a bit more possession now. Is this an indictment of Everton, or Villa just full of confidence?
Well, they made a confident start, didn't they, Everton, but they've gone into the shell a bit since then. Villa's tails are obviously up, having got that goal. It looks like a decent atmosphere at Villa Park this evening under the lights, and Villa Park, like all newly promoted side, will be crucial, the form at home for Villa, to staying in the Premier League for more than one season. And well, you feel like they've got a strike now in terms of the tails are up. Everton look a bit shaky. They can get another goal before half-time and not concede. They've got a real chance of getting that first win.
Yeah, Smith's expression hasn't really changed. Villa's fans have. They're in full voice, on their feet, applauding their team. And we're in front, not for the first time this season. Of course, they didn't hold on in the opener at Spurs. That was in the first game on the road. Of course, the first home game at Villa Park, they were 2-0 down inside 12 minutes. So much better start this time around as Everton attack down the left-hand side. Digne and McGinn clash. McGinn comes away with the ball. He's on his own corner flag, though, and he actually plays a clearance down the line, which is blocked by Digne, straight to Engels, who clears downfield. Although Gomez beat Jota to the ball. He was trying to find Bernard with the pass, but instead put it into touch, and it's a throw into Aston Villa. The Villa fans, Villa players rather, can take a little bit of a breather. It's been a real sort of gung-ho start to the game, largely from an Everton viewpoint. But that goal has certainly got Villa more attack-minded. Long throw down into the Everton half. It's over the head of Wesley, and that's going to bounce through to Keane. Everton can start again. Just one goal in 2 games from Everton. And of course they had kept 2 clean sheets, so first time they're behind this season. They had 1 or 2 issues last term. We have of course talked about the goals and where they're coming from for Everton, but Well, arguably the first attack for Villa they've scored. Maybe the defence isn't rock solid either.
Yeah, well, we thought it was a bit of a... they sorted that out in terms of... I think they've kept clean sheets in 7 of the last 10. As Wesley comes forward again, Mina... strong as a rock though, but Mina's got a big season ahead of him. He couldn't get in the team last turn. They tried 3 at the back. Eventually it was just a flat back 4 with Keane and Kurt Zuma on loan from Chelsea. He's obviously returned to Stamford Bridge, and it's a big there's a lot on Mina and Keane. There's not a lot behind them. No more Jagielka, of course. I think Mason Holgate's the only other centre half in the squad, and he kind of like switches between right back, centre half, and sometimes even right wing back. So they do lack options in that position. They don't look too great tonight, and if one of those gets injured, they're in a bit of trouble, you feel.
Yeah, there's a bit of problem at the back. Villa just let Digne make a run there, but good recovery though from Douglas Luiz though. And in the end he's won it back as Jota tries to break down the right hand side. He's outnumbered. He felt he was pushed by Sigurdsson or Gomez, one of the two. The referee says no foul, and it's back in field with Schneiderlin. He was under a little bit of pressure from Grealish, but Sigurdsson in support. Now Gomez, they're working the triangles. Villa have got all barring Wesley behind the ball at the moment, and that's making it tough for the Toffees to find a way through. Happy to go back to the halfway line to find a bit of time and space on the ball. And the possession stats still very much in Everton's favour. But so far, Heaton hasn't really been called into action. As a nice little 1-2 down the right. Coleman's gone in behind his man. Has it just overrun it? Flag's gone up. Yeah, it will be a goal kick. Nice 1-2 initially, but unfortunately, well, it looks like Trezeguet did just about enough.
Yeah, he didn't quite fancy going back with Coleman, but he did get his body there. We're going to see the goal again, and it is a fantastic run by Wesley. He's marking Coleman, and he just drifts in. I'm not quite sure where Yerry Mina is, because he's in the spot he's supposed to be in. I think Mina goes out to try and close the angle down to Jota, and that gives Wesley the space to move into. Even he has a bit of a glimpse at the linesman. Seeing the replays, he is onside. It is one of those things now, we're going to have to wait and wait, but it's for a man who we thought was a bit low on confidence, a great finish. Just flicks it past Pickford, going the wrong way. Goalkeeper no chance.
Yeah, as cool as you like, wasn't it? Saw a couple of attempts last week of players in a similar kind of position. I think Mopé at Brighton and Danny Ings for Southampton in a very good position, edge of the 6-yard box, and they don't hit the target. So it's not as simple as getting on the end of those things. You've still got to find a spot, but it was just cool. Just slotted it in the far post, and absolutely nothing Pickford can do. You can't blame him at all. Trainers are on the pitch again. This is another Villa injury. McGinn's had a bit of treatment, although he's just jogged away from the physios, presumably to get to the sideline to be ushered straight back on. But that's a third time that the Villa physios have been on the pitch.
Still 1-0 to the Villains, and not a lot has really gone on since that goal. It's Villa certainly on top. Everton have gone into the shells a bit, and maybe a few mental cracks coming through, because they don't look as certain about themselves as they did at the start of the game when they were dominating possession. It's all the ball to Villa at the moment. Wesley almost got a second. He danced through once again, but he was offside this time before he could get that shot away. It's up to the likes of Andre Gomez and Morgan Schneiderlin, you feel, to settle Everton down in the middle of the park, because Villa's tails are certainly up. They're winning all the second ball, and they'll hope to get a second before the break.
Just going into the 32nd minute, Everton back on the attack down the left hand side with Bernard going infield, though finds Schneiderlin, looks for the runner Coleman in behind, and he's found his man, stabs the ball into the box, running onto it. Oh, Calvert-Lewin, it was denied. I think the keeper's out of the equation. It was blocked by a defender, but that looked a golden opportunity for Calvert-Lewin to grab the goal. Got the number 9 on his jersey, and I suppose he hit the target, but it didn't look a convincing finish, and that's a big chance gone begging.
If you want to play number 9 for England, you score there, don't you? He's got to put, I think, he almost tries to pass it into the net, doesn't he? I think he's got to put his laces through the ball there, and well, he's got to score. There's no. It's a good block by Engels, don't get me wrong, but 12 yards out, the goal at your mercy, you've got to be banging that in the top corner. It should really be 1-1.
Yeah, somebody wasn't tracking the run of Seamus Coleman. Now, I'm not convinced he meant this cross, but I mean, looking at the attempt to strike another ball over the top this time for Richarlison, if you're going to analyse where that ball struck the defender on the line, it would probably be dead centre.
Yeah,
he's hit the target.
Where all the strikers are, where all the defenders are, the goalkeeper's behind the defender who makes the block. When there's a bit of space in that corner, I think he's got to just wrap his foot around the ball and try and put it into the far corner away from those who are retreating.
Yeah, I mean, Villa might be in front, but that's certainly a warning sign. It just seemed too easy. One ball in behind, and all of a sudden it's panic stations. Coleman wasn't marked. He's pulled it back. I think it was a little bit of a miss hit, if I'm being, in my opinion. But he's found Calvert-Lewin, who's unmarked. It's a worrying sign for Villa, other than the fact that it was blocked on the line. Villa try and respond with a ball for Trezeguet down the left. Difficult ball to control, and he can't quite do it. Just touches his boot before running behind for a goal kick. But certainly the best chance that Everton have created thus far. You would argue it's fallen to the right person, the number 9, but hit the target and didn't beat, well, combination of the defender. Tom Heaton was probably just behind him as well, and that chance has gone to beg him. It will be frustrating for Marco Silva, but looking from a positive viewpoint, they're getting into good positions fairly easy. We're not seeing mazy dribbles or killer balls. It's not hard to get opportunities against Villa.
Yeah, well, Trezeguet's not always tracking Coleman down the right hand side, is he? So they get a 2-on-1 with Taylor. Richarlison takes him inside. Taylor has to follow him. He gives Coleman a chance to get forward down the right. I think they should need to test Gilbert a bit more, just because he's on the yellow card. He's on his Premier League debut. He's looked pretty solid so far, but on that caution, especially for fouling Bernard, I think they need to get in and around him more often. But at the moment, Coleman down the right hand side does seem to be their biggest source of joy.
Yeah, it might be an interesting tussle. Wesley and Mina, two very strong, tall figures. This time Mina won the header, but actually Villa have won the second ball. As charging down the right hand side is Gilbert. He felt he was pushed in the back as he crossed it. It went straight to Pickford. Mina might just have leant into his back there, right in front of the linesman, but no foul, says the referee. Now Trezeguet is penalised on the other side. He's frustrated. Coleman wins the free kick. That's where Trezeguet wants to be, with Coleman inside the Everton half. But we know Coleman's a very attacking fullback.
Absolutely, yeah, and part of his tactical remit, I suppose, this evening will be to force Trezeguet back, because he doesn't like defending, does he? So he'll be pushing on as often as he can. The free kick comes to nothing. It was floated forward towards Richarlison rather than Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And well, I think he won the flick on, but there was no one behind him, and straight through to Tom Heaton.
Yeah, Ingles plays a rather risky ball across the back four to Mings, who's under pressure straight away and just clears downfield. Everton make a bit of a Horlicks of things, and that's a good ball from Wesley to McGinn, running down the left, back inside to Wesley, tries to tee up Jack Grealish, shot charged down in the D. Pickford will try and beat Jota to the ball and does so, and that chance averted. But that was good play from Wesley and Trezeguet McGinn down the left. And Grealish, I suppose, if you want anybody shooting from that range, Grealish would be top of your list.
Yeah, maybe just a bit over ego. I think in a few months' time, when he's got more of the pace of the Premier League, he looks up there and sees the diving challenge Mina's coming right at it, and then just takes it on a few yards. But it's encouraging signs for Villa. That was better there in terms of getting bodies in and around Wesley. At the moment, they don't look entirely comfortable, I wouldn't say, but they're not entirely shaky as well. It's one of those things where they're just doing enough at the back going forward, and Everton aren't really posing too many problems.
Yeah, Wesley holds the ball up. Now Grealish finding the run of Gilbert, who's shown a willingness plenty of times already in this game to get forward. He's got to the edge of the D, goes for goal. He had Jota on the overlap, but he immediately puts up his hands in apology, because he sliced his efforts somewhat wide of the near post, far too high. It's one of those where nobody closed him down, and he thought, why not? But possibly an option with 2-on-2 in the middle, get it out to the wide man, get a cross in.
Yeah, that's probably would have been the better ball. He just delayed, because Everton weren't pressing him at all. He got to, he kind of earned the chance to go for goal. It was a disappointing effort. in the end, but positive play still from Villa.
Yes, obviously Gilbert's on a yellow card, but he likes to get forward, it would appear. He's been caught offside a couple of times as well. Here's Sigurdsson in a very central position just outside the D. He's lost possession, though no foul, although taking too long in possession. It was Louise, and Everton have it back with Coleman. Now Gomez swings in across. Mings rather volleys it up in the air. And there's a fight for the loose ball. Trezeguet and Richarlison. I think he came off Trezeguet last, so it'll be an Everton throw. 20 yards or so from the corner flag, right hand side, with just under 8 minutes to go to the break. There might be a bit of injury time added on, actually. 3 times the physio's been on the pitch, so I'd expect 3 or 4 minutes as Everton win a second throw. Coleman onto his left foot, finds Sigurdsson, works the overlap round the outside, low ball in towards the near post, and Mings has hooked it towards a corner kick. Taylor's tried to keep it in. Well, he's kept it from a corner. He's put it out for a throw-in, safety first. But a bit of pressure being applied by the man in blue. Sigurdsson down the right, closed down well by Douglas Luiz, who has to concede another throw-in right on the corner flag. Sigurdsson was thinking about taking it, but leaves it for Coleman. With time ticking down at the end of this first half. Aston Villa 1, Everton 0. Independent Off-Tube studio commentary. Everton bossing proceedings really until Villa scored. Good goal as well from Wesley, his first for the club. But then it's been a fairly even contest after that, as this time Everton make a mess of things on the attack down the right, and it's a defensive throw for Aston Villa with 1 or 2 other substitutions warming up.
Heading towards a break, still Aston Villa 1, Everton 0. And Marco Silva might be thinking about making a change at the break. Both Alex Iwobi and Moise Keane have been sent out to warm up. Everton had a great chance through Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Dogged play by Seamus Coleman down the right hand side, just about kept the ball in, and he found Calvert-Lewin 10 yards out in a central position, and he guided it towards the goal rather than smashed it in. Bjorn Engels, it was a decent block on the line. Tom Heaton was behind him, but you'd like for a striker who wants to be in the England team a bit more confidence from Calvert-Lewin. That's the best Everton have had so far. Other than that, Villa look pretty comfortable. They still lead 1-0.
Yeah, 1 or 2 subs warming up. I'm not sure they're going to come on before the break, which is only 5 minutes plus injury time away, but you never know. Coleman on the attack, right hand side, finds Richarlison. He hasn't got much room inside the 18-yard box. He still has possession, though. Back out to Coleman. His cross blocked by Taylor. Coleman should get the loose ball. Faked a left-footed cross. Now wants some support. It comes in the form of Gomez, but that's possibly out of the stadium. I think he was going for the cross, but he's smashed it into Rosette. From a tightish angle. More disappointment for Marco Silva's men, who I suppose Silva will be under a little bit of pressure. This season never quite got going last season. They've spent money as they did. They still we keep talking about a striker. They haven't really replaced Romelu Lukaku still. But you think Silva's under a bit of pressure this season?
He seems one of those quite streaky manager, isn't he? I think the time is now for him to put a bit of consistency into the side in his career, really. He's played almost, if you put the last campaign into quarters or thereabouts, he had 7 good games and 7 poor ones and so on and so forth like that. He finished last season well. Seems like he was getting to grips. They put a lot of money into the team, like you say, but I suppose now's the time for him to start producing.
Bernard gets down the left flank. His cross, though, is not nearly good enough. Intercepted by Engels. Now the break is on with Grealish crossing the halfway line. Poor ball from him. Comes back to him, though, off Mina. Then he just tries to outmuscle Mina. I'm not sure he's going to win that contest too often. He isn't outmuscling Yerry Mina. Everton have it back, with Gomez switching over to the right-hand side. Coleman feeding it out to Richarlison, who has got 2 ahead of him. Coleman this time isn't going on the overlap. I think he tried to nutmeg Taylor, doesn't quite work. Taylor uses Mings, and then McGinn back to Taylor, clips it downfield, held up well enough by Wesley. Now Grealish tries to set Douglas Luiz away down the left-hand side. He's got him behind Coleman. There's a nudge in his back. He goes down under pressure, and that'll be a free kick to Aston Villa. Haven't seen Luis get forward too often. Scored a screamer last week, of course.
He seems to be more the holder of the three. It's McGinn who's giving them the legs with Grealish just floating around. But Douglas Luiz had a couple of decent seasons in Spain with Girona. Came through Manchester City, so obviously a player of some pedigree. I think they were trying to line him up as a replacement or long-term option for Fernandinho. Couldn't get a work permit. And he's moved on now to Aston Villa after another couple of seasons in Spain. But very tidy player. And as we saw last week, he's certainly got some magic in his boots.
Yeah, wonderful goal. Of course, he played a horrible dummy to set up Botman's second goal deep inside his own half, but he made amends somewhat. Of course, Villa still lost as Bernard tries to set Digne away down the left-hand side. The Everton left, but slightly overplayed. Gomez stops Jota breaking there down the same flank. Throw into Aston Villa on the halfway. And it's worth mentioning, of course, I didn't say is Marco Silva under pressure, but he's unbeaten with a win and a draw in his opening 2 games, and this game is far from over as Wesley attacks down the right-hand side. The cross, not great. He barely had Trezeguet to aim for, but it's out of play on the far side for throwing. He's probably stretching just to keep it in play at all. Then him and Mina are having words afterwards. There's a fair bit of chat going on. Could be an interesting boxing match if they were to.
They look the well suited, aren't they? They're both probably about 6'2", 6'3", and in the same weight category. I wouldn't fancy getting in the middle of that. I think Minion is trying to explain now to Mike Oliver that they've sorted it out between themselves, but we both know that isn't true. And Wesley's still going on, and you imagine next time one of them gets the ball, the other one will be not too far away.
Could be a yellow card waiting to happen. It was only verbals, no pushing or shoving or anything, but obviously they weren't in agreement about something as Everton cleared their lines, but there's a bit of a chase for Richarlison through the middle. Under a little bit of pressure, Gilbert decides to take no chances at all, just pumps it back into the Everton half. Pickford makes the claim on the edge of his box, rolls it out straight away to Mina, and Everton can start again. It's worth noting, obviously we have had a goal, and we've talked about decent chances, but neither keeper's actually done an awful lot in this game so far. Obviously Engels got a block in before Heaton was required for that Calvert-Lewin chance as McGinn wins his side a free kick, getting ahead of Calvert-Lewin. Ball is played over the top nice and early for Trezeguet. Wesley is making ground into the middle. He's the only one thus far. Support eventually comes from Grealish. Outside the box, goes for the curler! And that's not that far wide, but Pickford didn't make any kind of dive towards the ball, so perhaps he was confident he was always going wide.
Yeah, he had to think about it, didn't he? Pickford just sitting against the perfect angle for a right footer cutting in. He just shifts it to his right hand side and tries to wrap his foot around the ball, but not enough. And as you're saying, I think Pickford was fairly confident early on.
Yeah, 3 minutes of added time we've just entered. Remains Aston Villa 1, Everton 0 in stoppage time, but we have had 3 injuries. Poor pass out from the back from Keane gives Aston Villa a throw in, only just inside the Everton half. But Keane chuntering away to himself. Of course, the manager's picked the ball up. He saw that pass. He was the recipient of it. So things not quite clicking for the Toffees. He does look like he's in a bit of a mood, doesn't he,
I was going to say, his body language isn't good. He looks like a manager. This is about to be 6 defeats in a row, and he's seen the chairman wandering around the executive box down steps towards the dressing room, doesn't he? He doesn't look like a man whose side hadn't conceded coming into this game and were unbeaten from the 2 games. He does look, he's quite a frantic character, I think, most of the time, and if I was a player, he wouldn't be filling me with too much confidence. It
looks like it might be quite a fierce team talk at half time. They could play better, they could have played better, obviously, Everton. But it's not as if they keep getting opened up, and it's not as if they've created a raft of chances. Maybe that's the problem. They've had a lot of possession, we've talked about that. I haven't seen a possession stat in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Villa are into the game a little bit more, but I still think Everton are on top, probably comfortably. As Digne comes down the left-hand side for the Blues, then it's an overplayed pass by Gomez beyond Bernard, and Villa have it back with McGinn. More frustrations for Marco Silva. Mings out to the left, and Taylor infield to McGinn. Still inside the Villa half with 2 minutes of stoppage time completed. Ball Trezeguet to chase, and he will get. He continues, he just wants some support. Comes from Taylor, back to Trezeguet, 1-2 with Grealish. Trezeguet's got 3 Everton defenders ahead of him as he tries to go towards the corner flag. Can't quite win his side a corner, although Schneiderlin overrun it. No play on, it's headed away by Gomez. Grealish could beat Richarlison to the ball and does. Villa have it back just on the halfway line with Mings and Engels, who clips it back out to Grealish. 30 seconds left of stoppage time, potentially anyway. Taylor with an early ball in, it's just behind Wesley and Jota. Digne should bring it away for the Toffees. Maybe one last attack for the visiting side to Villa Park this evening. 1-0 down, of course, despite a greater possession. Schneiderlin. Is that a shot on target? No, it's going wide. It's a long ball downfield. It's Gylfi Sigurdsson, actually. I don't know what he was trying to do. It's caught by Tom Heaton.
Is
from the
it a
halfway
shot
line.
or is it a pass? I'm not sure. Anyway, Cavalo's not happy.
Yeah, it was caught by the keeper inside the box from.
Right, so it's half time. It is 1-0 to Aston Villa. If you are going to leave now because it's half time, make sure to come back in 15 minutes for the second half because we'll continue doing commentary then. We have about 20 people in here when I last saw. Yeah, 17 people. So if you aren't subscribed and you want to see more Everton and Aston Villa commentaries, hit the subscribe button. If we go through them quickly, we'll be able to see. So August, probably won't do Crew versus Aston Villa. I'll most likely do West Ham versus Aston Villa on the 16th of September, and then Arsenal versus Aston Villa on the 22nd. So we've got 2 games in September that I'll do for Villa. As for Everton games, I'm most likely going to do Lincoln Everton on the Wednesday, so if you want to see that, then subscribe to the channel. Bournemouth v Everton, 15th of September. I might do, I'm not too sure yet. And then Everton Man City has also got like 2 or 3 in the next month coming up for Aston Villa and Everton streams. So we're going to look at the match facts now. And then we'll look at the league table as it stands. So match stats. So 63% possession for Everton, 37% for Aston Villa, 5 shots for Villa, 5 shots for Everton, 1 on target for Villa, 0 for Everton, 2 corners for Everton, 0 for Villa. So looks like it's a pretty even game. only one shot on target, which has managed to go in. We're gonna look at the player ratings now. For that, I am gonna have to go on my phone and look at it. I won't be able to get up on the screen. I'll keep the stats on there for now. The player ratings, if we look at them now, we'll start off with Aston Villa. So Heaton has a 6.6, Mings has a 6.9, Engels has a 6.9, Taylor has a 6.7, Gilbert has a 6.6, Louise has a 6.6, McGinn has a 6.7, Grealish has a 6.8, Trezeguet has a 6, Jota has a 7.8 and Wesley has a 7.2. And then for Everton, Pickford has a 6.2, Mina has a 6.7, Keane has a 6.5, Coleman has a 6.8, Digne has a 6.7, Schneiderlin has a 7, Gomez has a 6.1, Bernard has a 6.3, Sigurdsson has a 6.4, Richarlison has a 6.8 and Calvert-Lewin has a 6.7. So Jota, by far the best player apparently, according to this website. Wesley is doing alright, Schneiderlin's doing alright, and two centre-backs Villa are doing alright as well. So we're going to look at the league table now as it stands. So Aston Villa will go up to 12th at the moment. If they score another goal, they'll go up to 11th, I believe. They'll need another like 3 or 4 goals to go ahead of Burnley. And then Everton are 9th. If they can turn this around, get a draw, they'll go 3rd. If they win, then they'll go 1st. But if they lose, they'll stay in 9th. Tomorrow's fixtures, we'll have a look at them. No, we won't according to this. For Premier League scores, so August. Norwich v Chelsea is the lunchtime kickoff. And then we have Brighton Southampton, Man U Crystal Palace, Sheffield United Leicester, Watford West Ham and Liverpool Arsenal. So 2 teams at the top of the league at the moment are playing each other at 5:30 tomorrow. Should be good. Well, it means one of them's going to drop points, and at least one of them's going to drop points. 2 of them could draw, which could be good for teams like Man U and Man City, because Man U are most likely going to beat Palace, and they'll go top of the league on 7 points, and then Man City will most likely beat Bournemouth. So it's just down to Liverpool and Arsenal. Well, one of them winning. But I'm not sure what to do at the moment. We've got, let's find out how long we've got until the second half. We've got around 10 minutes. We've got 13 people in there. 15 actually. Look at top scorers, so Pukki and Sterling at the top. I mean, look at this, surely... Actually no, because minutes per goal, 43 and then 45. It doesn't really matter. I doubt Pukki will score against Chelsea tomorrow. Sterling will most likely score against Bournemouth. He scored like 9 goals against Bournemouth since they were in the Prem. So he'll most likely score again. Barnes has got 3 goals. Burnley are playing... They're playing... I don't know who they're playing tomorrow. Let's open BBC Sport here as well so I can quickly see who each team are playing. Burnley play against... Now they're playing on Sunday against Wolves, so Barnes could score, but I'm not too sure. Rashford could just got 2 goals, 1 assist, could score against Palace. I'm not sure. Top scorers doesn't really matter, to be completely honest. Let's just focus on this game. We'll look at... I mean, we've looked at match stats. I'm not sure what to do. We'll keep the lineups on there for now, I guess. That's not lineups. The only yellow card is Gilbert at the moment. Most likely that will change. Still got 15 people staying here, but nobody's commenting. Don't know why. If you have any questions, comment them in the chat. I'll answer all of them. Let me just get the chart. Don't know why nobody's commenting, to be honest, but I mean, I'm not really that bothered. It's just there's nothing really to do at the moment. This is what I hate about halftime. You literally talk about the stats and stuff for about 10 minutes and you just wait there for like 8 minutes not knowing what to do. Don't know what I'm putting that on. Let me just turn that on. So when I put on the commentary, it'll be there. Matt the Cat says up the Villa. My prediction's 1-1. That was my prediction at the start of the game. I don't know. I don't know if Aston Villa will concede or not though. Moise Keane and Iwobi probably need to come on though. Two 0 Aston Villa. I don't know if Aston Villa will get that second goal though. Matt says 2-0 as well, McGinn with the other goal. He could. I don't think Aston Villa will score another though, to be honest. It's either going to be 1-0 to Villa at the end or 1-0. Will says 2-1 Villa. So everyone thinks Aston Villa are going to win. We'll have to wait and see though. Who do you suppose support Man City? Right, second half started now. I'm going to put on the commentary. So, hopefully you guys enjoy the second half. If you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. And if you do subscribe, your name should appear and I'll shout out everyone that subs. So, if you could subscribe, that would be great.
The debutant, he's on a yellow card. Engels, Mings and Taylor, Louise, McGinn and Grealish to midfield 3 with Trezeguet on the left, Hotter on the right and Wesley, the goal scorer, on 22 minutes up front. For Everton, Pickford in goal, back 4 of Coleman, Keane, Mina and Digne, Schneidlin and Gomez holding the midfield, Richarlison, Sigurdsson and Bernard spotting Calvert-Lewin, who had the Toffees' best chance. A good start to the game by Everton, wasn't it, Rob? But after that, not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, the stats, there's about 60% possession for Everton as the away side. Not a problem, he'd be quite happy with that. But they've only had 1 shot on target, and I think they've only had 3 shots in total. It's the final pass is just breaking down. Villa, of course, didn't offer anything there for the first 20 minutes, and then they've actually mustered 4 shots, including a nicely worked goal. So there's still obviously a very big chance for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, which could have levelled things up. He didn't take it, but they just didn't create enough with the possession they've got. 60% possession and 3 shots. It's just not good enough for Everton. I imagine Marco Silva's told his men that at the break. Here they come straight on the attack, although that Sigurdsson pass just clipped the heels of Calvert-Lewin and it's cleared away by Gilbert. But yeah, they've got to do more with the ball. They've seen enough of it and there's no real excuses.
Yeah, it looks like Iwobi and Moise Keane are warming up on the far side. You maybe get the feeling that Marco Silva said to his troops, you've got 10-15 minutes maybe to get yourselves back into this game, then we're going to start making some changes. Plenty of options on the bench for both managers actually, as Taylor finds Wesley just pulling off on the left hand side. He'll switch to play, looking for Hotter, but Digne wins the ball and Bernard gives it away. Good strong play now. Douglas Luiz had fouled Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Incidentally, the subs for Villa steers the goalkeeper, Henri Lansbury, Conor Hourihane, Ezri Konsa, we saw a couple of shots of in the first half. Both Engels and Mings picked up knocks but are okay. Anwar El-Ghazi and Ahmed El Mohammadi were the 2 men to drop out the team this evening, and Keenan Davis, the youngster, also amongst the reserves for Everton. Stecklenburg, the goalkeeper, Holgate, Walcott, Iwobi, Kane, Davis and Sidibe, the man on loan from Monaco. Coleman searching ball towards the back post. Bernard fouls Gilbert, and well, he's suggesting he didn't, but he did. For a quite an intelligent player as Bernard is, I don't know why he just didn't pull off a couple of yards behind him. It was always caught under the ball, I thought there, Gilbert. And there's no need to try and take a ride on his back.
No, but I mean, I don't think he's going to beat Gilbert in the air too often, is he? He just slightly misjudged it. He'd already committed to trying to win that header. It just happened to be too deep for the both of them. As it turns out, again, it's another breakdown in the final third. I mean, I actually thought the pass from Richarlison to Coleman just forced Coleman to put a bit of a sprint on to keep it in, and then, of course, he didn't quite control the cross. So, yeah, it's just sloppy things like that that are costing Everton to a degree in this game. And obviously, you would have thought Silva had said something at the break, but yeah, Bernard's given it away. Bernard's given it away a couple of times in this half as well. So I mean, I think he's looking at the bench, thinking, "When's his number coming up?" Yeah,
well, he did score like the winner, didn't he, against Watford? But with Alex Iwobi coming in to the side this summer, or the squad, Bernard's only 26, so he's got plenty of years left in him. But he would be an obvious man to come in, as would for me Andre Gomez, who's not playing well at all this evening, not for the first time. He's just fired the ball out on the full, and he's suggesting, well, he's having a go at his teammate, but whoever he was aiming for, they were probably about 40 yards away from where he played the ball.
Yeah, disappointing again, isn't it? He might have more of a defensive responsibility. He seems to be playing quite deep to me. Obviously they've lost Idrissa Gueye, that kind of protection in front of the back four. I know you'd think that's more Schneidlin's job to come in and fill those sort of shoes, but I think Gomez most of the time has been playing behind Schneidlin as he is defending here. Villa on the attack.
Yeah, hotter it is. Finds Gilbert, tries to drill it across, but Dini gets a good block in. Two Frenchmen going on it there, and it's a throw in on the far side. Yeah, well, Gomez, he played as, I suppose, a number 8, as they say, last season alongside Ghana Gay, but I remember when he was younger, he was played number 10 at Valencia and played more of an advanced role at Barcelona as well, and doesn't look altogether comfortable in this more withdrawn role as Bernard wins his side a free kick off Hotter to scrapping out in the far corner, but Villa have come out again with plenty of determination. And there's a lot of graft in this side, you feel. Otter, of course, a familiar face of Dean Smith, scored 12 goals and recorded 7 assists when they were together at Brentford, and a decent option from the start this evening. Anwar El Ghazi has been playing. Trezeguet switched across to the left hand side. In the modern day of wingers, I suppose, Hotter the left foot on the right hand side, Trezeguet the right foot on the left, as Calvert-Lewin pushes Engels needlessly. He wants the ball quicker, but the ball can be quicker. You still can't foul your opponent.
Yeah, it's a bit of a high-hanging ball, wasn't it? A bit more hope than expectation on that ball down there. They don't have that sort of physical presence necessarily at Everton. Calvert-Lewin's got decent height about him. I think it's going to be tough, those sort of balls, not necessarily the other way. Villa, of course, have got Wesley to aim for as he's caught by Calvert-Lewin. The referees play the advantage because Villa come away with the ball. Both players slid in really, but because Wesley got there first, he would have got the free kick, but as I say, they've tried to play the advantage. Eventually he's put out by McGinn just as Wesley's getting back to his feet. Calvert-Lewin gets a yellow card. He's arguing his case, but I do feel a little bit sorry for him because there isn't.
It was the other way around. It looked like Wesley stood on Calvert-Lewin, not the other way around.
There is that, but of course Calvert-Lewin's gone to ground, and he's just not quite there. But you've seen million challenges worse than that. He's almost pulling out of it. And I think Wesley's made the most of that contact there, to be fair. Like you say, he trod on Calvert-Lewin's outstretched legs. I think that's harsh for a yellow card. But Everton just not making things stick. It's been quite a scrappy start to this second half. Jota, I thought, the last time he was in shot there, actually, he appeared to be looking at the bench. I wonder if he feels he's under a little bit of pressure. I think he's done more than Trezeguet in this game. If I was going to take off a wide man, if I was Dean Smith, it would be Trezeguet over Jota. Of course, Jota got the assist.
Yes, as Mings makes the tackle. And out for a throw-in, though, level with the edge of the Villa box. On the left hand side, but Everton go backwards. Gomez is under pressure from McGinn. Schneidlin gives it away. Trezeguet's there. No, he's not. Keane, well played by him. Read it well, the England defender. And back to Jordan Pickford. And well, you mentioned it earlier, Robin, that there's been plenty of action in both penalty boxes, but I don't think either Pickford or Heaton's made a save yet, as Mina now will find Schneidlin. Central position, finds Bernard, back though to Mina. Schneidlin can turn, he's got plenty of bodies ahead of him. Nice pocket of space found by Gylfi Sigurdsson. Wide ball by him, finds Digne. Digne down the line to Gomez at the byline, fires it across. Engels with a good block, out for a corner kick.
Yeah, it's better from Everton. I thought for a moment Digne had overplayed it, but he hadn't. It was absolutely perfect for Gomez to get to the byline. There's lots of defenders back there, though. Maybe he could have stood it up to the far post, better chance, but he has won inside a corner.
Yeah, Yerry Mina always a real threat in these situations. Digne, good ball in as well. The heads go up, it is Mina, but it's over the crossbar. That was better by Everton. It was a good ball in by Digne, and both Keane and Mina were there. Mina got the header, but over the crossbar.
Yeah, he's under a little bit of pressure. He's kind of leaning backwards. Well, he's jumping backwards. Couldn't quite get over the ball. A better ball in, though, from a wide position. It at least gave an attacker, obviously it's a defender on this occasion, but at least gave an attacker in the box some kind of chance. So we've seen crosses over hit, under hit. But that's arguably the first one we've had that's yielded an opportunity. He might be disappointed, but I think that's a tough chance under pressure, trying to beat two defenders in the air.
Yeah, two defenders and one of his teammates as well. He had to come over a number of bodies there, did Mina, as Gomez commits a foul. He's got a free kick then. Grealish just inside Everton territory will roll it back to Engels. Engels finds Mings. Mings to Taylor. That's 3 out of 10 there for Aston Villa. They rode it back. Mings fired it at Taylor, who was on the touchline, couldn't do anything, and out for a throw in. Not really. If you're an analyst, I suppose they have made about 4 yards from that free kick. Anyway, they've got the ball back as Everton are giving away now. Grealish under pressure from Schneiderlin and Richarlison. Sigurdsson holds off Luiz, but Luiz sticks to his task. Good defending by Douglas Luiz. It's thrown on the near side, around the halfway line. Marco Silva talking to his assistant, Luis Boamorte. And, well, they look pretty animated there. You've got to think. It looks like Silva wants to make a change, and Boamorte is kind of like talking him through it, whether it's a good decision or not.
Yeah. Sometimes as a player, he looked quite hot-headed at times, didn't he, Luis Boamorte? But it looks quite calm, talking away to the manager. I'm just wondering, given that free kick that we've just seen from Aston Villa, whether 1-0 is a dangerous lead for them, because they know they're in front. And they just don't want to. They don't want to get caught down. Phil, that's Grealish on the ball. He's played it back into his own half. There's a long time left in this game. You'd think the way that the game's gone, with 4 shots from the opposition, ball over the top, should just go through to Pickford rather than Wesley, and it does, claimed by the England man. But yeah, I just don't think they're being overly offensive at the moment. It's only 1 goal, and I think that's a dangerous game.
Into the second half then, and Villa still lead Everton 1-0 at home. Everton have had the best chance of the second half so far from a corner kick. Good ball in by Luca Digne, outswinger from the left hand side away from Tom Heaton, and Yerry Mina was up from the back. Decent, powerful header. However, it was coming over Michael Keane and a couple of defenders and couldn't direct it goalwards. Marco Silva's getting increasingly animated on the touchline. You've got to think that a change might be forthcoming quite soon, because his side are playing in fits and starts. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's also in the book, and maybe the suggestion is that he will be the man replaced by Moise Keane. Though, as it stands, it is 1-0 to Villa.
Another bad cross, this time from Schneiderlin. Villa have attacked down their right hand side, and they've been able to do so. Jota tries to fire it into the box, and I think that was Trezeguet making the run, although it's a poor clearance, and Jota and Gilbert come by. This time Gomez has just nudged over Jota. It'll be a free kick to Villa, halfway inside the Everton half, and it's too far out to go for goal, obviously, but well, there's 2 Everton players that were probably a yard away, and if Villa don't want to play it because they're not retreating, then just point it out to the referee. Don't just play it backwards because we're in the blue shirt there. This time the referee's come across to have a word with Bernard and Sigurdsson. You don't seem to get yellow cards by not retreating anymore, do you? But I mean, Villa don't need to hurry this game along. If Everton want to break the rules, as it were, let them do it. Yeah,
Grealish, deep ball in towards Mings. Mings, good header as well, but straight down into Michael Keane. It deflects into the hands of Jordan Pickford, the Everton player, suggesting maybe Mings was offside, but the flag didn't go up, and they went to sleep there. That's good play by John McGinn. Skips in ahead of Digne, and he's charging forward the Scottish into the box, rolls it to Trezeguet. Trezeguet tries to just knock it off to Grealish. He was off balance as he played the ball. Good clearing challenge by Luiz, out for a throw-in in the Everton left back area. Just thinking, if it was any player other than Grealish there, I think Trezeguet might have taken it on himself. But as, of course, he is the skipper, Grealish, he almost felt like he had to play it to him.
Yeah, and I just, it's easy to say when, of course, we're watching it with TV pictures. You can see where the space is. If they've just put out any kind of ball to the far post, Keane is very much at the near post, and who is going to challenge Wesley for a cross? It might well have been Pickford, but obviously in the thick of the action you don't necessarily see that space in that. I do actually think, having said this, that Wesley also made a run to the near post as well. When you just think there's two defenders there's nobody far post, but they've now got a free kick. Gomez on the back of McGinn. This is actually a decent period of play for Villa. I don't think they've tried to do too much in this second half, but maybe they're just thinking, do you know what, Everton are not testing us today, why don't we try and get a second?
Well, it's a mismatch at the back post. It's obviously, I think Marco Silva wants Mina and Keane, his two biggest men in the middle of the line, so Mings is marking Andre Gomez, and he's just about, well, it's a Gomez header just in front of Mings. Off his head or maybe his shoulder, I'm not quite sure, but as you'd expect, really, he wasn't convincing by the Portuguese. By Gomez, who's I'll hand over to Rob because I'm not quite sure what he was doing.
Yeah, it's not quite the Sigurdsson final ball of the first half. I don't know what that was, but he tried a first time pass out to the left, but he's just hit it straight down the pitch. It's on his right foot. Just a big up and under that obviously Heaton dealt with. I was actually forgetting the earlier opportunity for Tyrone Mings. Now I think he should have done better. Gylfi Sigurdsson is actually just making way for Alex Iwobi. I suppose we didn't mention Gylfi Sigurdsson as a potential man to depart because he's usually good for at least a chance or a goal, but I don't think Richarlison, Bernard or Calvert-Lewin have played any worse, any better than Sigurdsson, but that's obviously the decision that the manager's made. But yeah, that headed chance, I think Mings is almost trying to just head it back into the danger zone when really he's got a free head at goal.
And yeah, he's looking all the way, and I with the pace and the ball, you fancy him to try and power it towards the far corner. Bernard's the other man who's gone off, so maybe Iwobi wide left, almost a 4-4-2 it looks like for Everton. So you can't accuse Marco Silva of being reticent in bringing or being negative in his changes, can you? As Gomez again clips the ball wide. Digne had to back pedal there. Iwobi gets his first touch, and it's Paulwood. It goes out for a throw-in on the far side. He pleads innocence with Michael Oliver, but Gilbert's had a decent game despite being that early yellow, and wins his side a throw-in. And Bjorn Engels will trot across and take it by the looks of it, but a bit of a miscommunication, I suppose. Engels and Gilbert. I didn't think the right back would be the more natural choice to take a throw, but he eventually does go back. Apologises to Michael Oliver. Suggests he's not time wasting, and Taylor will help it down the line, looking towards Trezeguet, who's gone down and under a heap of Everton players. Richarlison was the man. He's actually given a free kick away, the Egyptian, and Seamus Coleman demanding the ball back. Schneidlin 40 yards from the Villa goal. Again, Everton, they've got two big strikers on. They've got Richarlison, they've got the two centre halves, they've got players like Digne and Gomez who can whip the ball in, and they go all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Doesn't quite make sense at times, as Mina will find Gomez. His first touch is backwards when he should have got the shout to turn, I think, there. Gomez, Schneidlin, they just have a bit of keep ball in the centre circle. Mina's got Luca Digne down the line. Schneidlin can turn, he's got Calvert-Lewin, goes across to Coleman. Richarlison's inside him, Coleman the skipper. Good play by him, good strong play, but Trezeguet did really well to get back and really picked up the pieces. Not the best ball by Taylor, and Mings gives it away. Schneidlin, Iwobi, central position, tries to find Moise Keane, but the ball was too strong. But you mentioned it, we mentioned in the first half, I feel Villa need a second goal either way, but they've been a bit reticent going forward, and they almost Mings has been excellent so far. Almost presented a goal to Everton.
Yeah, I think a lot of the time Mings has actually been quite happy just to clear the ball downfield. Let's not make any mistakes in our half. I think Engels wants to pass it to Mings so that, I don't know, does Mings get penalised with just a clearance downfield? I don't know. He was reluctant to do it. The one time that I remember that Mings has tried to pass it out of defence, he coughs up an opportunity. So it's a stark reminder, things aren't necessarily easy at 1-0. You might not be under too much pressure, but obviously Everton didn't make them pay too severely. But I think that's just a warning. Mings, the next time he gets it, is going to pump it downfield.
Yeah, he's going to aim for the halfway line and beyond, isn't he? As Moise Keane now, first touch for him, breaking towards the box, lovely step over, finds Iwobi on the edge of the area. Iwobi dances past Louise, but kind of dances out of the danger zone. But we'll find Gomez. Schneider's an acres of space. Coleman wants it wide on the right hand side. Everton once again taking the sting out of their own move. Must be frustrating for an Everton fan watching this or listening to it, because if they were a bit more direct, they could have Villa at 6 and 7s. It will be ball in. Did it come off Kane? Did it come off Engels? It came off Engels, according to referee Michael Oliver. Out for a corner kick. And with Kane now on, they've got Calvert-Lewin, Keane and Mina up from the back. Schneiderlin's not going to go in the box, but he's a target. Richarlison as well. Although Villa have got a big team themselves, with Digne's delivery, Everton will fancy themselves here. Outswinger once again towards Mina. Mina wins it, and it comes off one or two players and bounces past the post. I think the Everton players are suggesting it may have a hand there. Digne's ball in. It comes off, I think it comes off the shoulder maybe of Engels.
Yeah, I think he's just making sure he got the decision, Mina, not the penalty, the corner. I mean, they look like they're a big unit and will cause any team problems from set pieces. They just haven't created enough of them in this game. Open play, it keeps breaking down, but particularly with Keane and, like you say, Mina coming up for the last two headers. Mina's won in the opposing 18-yard box. Let's not forget who they've already got on the pitch. So, I mean, they look a big unit. Villa, I think, second best in that department.
Yeah, ball in. Well played by Tyrone Mings, though. Gets the header just in front of Mina. I imagine he's going to be charged of attacking the ball. It's cleared by Hotter. And Mina will put the ball back into the box, headed away by Gilbert. McGinn scrapping away as he always does. And Everton, though, come up with the ball. Coleman wide to Iwobi on the halfway line. We'll find Jordan Pickford all the way back, the goalkeeper. And Everton retreating, but set pieces do look like a real outlet for them. Schneiderlin clips it forward, looking for Calvert-Lewin. Good touch by the striker. Calvert-Lewin loses out to Engels. He's had another sharp evening. Looks a decent buy, does the Club Brugge man. Throwing then, looks like Lucadina will be winding up this one. He's telling everyone to get in towards the penalty spot. Unleashes it. Headed by Michael Keane at the near post. Easy though into the hands of his former Burnley teammate Tom Heaton. Still Villa 1-0 up at home to Everton, but the Toffees have made their move. Moise Keane and Alex Iwobi have come on for Bernard and Gylfi Sigurdsson. Still to really make an impact. Keane had a nice dart down the left-hand side, but ran out of space really. Iwobi's shown some nice touches, but still to test Tom Heaton, who's had a relatively untroubled night in the goal. The same really can be said for Jordan Pickford, and he'd have had a save to make. You feel this game though is bubbling under as we head into the final quarter. Everton have made the move. Will it pay dividends? Still Villa 1, Everton 0.
Yeah, it's a game of two chances at the moment. Villa scored theirs, Everton did not score theirs. I'm talking clear-cut chances as well. Mina's looked dangerous from corners, and Everton are turning the screw to a degree. Villa more content with clearing their lines. They're not seeing too much of the ball in the last 5 or 10. As Schneiderlin has it, that's probably the one player Villa want to see in possession of the ball. It's another lateral pass, this time to Gomez. Iwobi drops deep. Not a fantastic first touch, but he is able to still use his pace and get the ball as Gomez drops a shoulder, fakes a shot, plays it out to the right-hand side. This is Everton in a nutshell. Could have shot, could have played a better pass. In the end, he's wrong-footed his own teammate, then played a poor delivery, and that will go out of play for a Villa throw.
Yeah, sums up Gomez's night. A touch that, doesn't it? He's just had one of those off ones. Still got time to redeem himself, of course. You feel this game So there's plenty more to come, but we are into the final quarter of the game. Villa leading 1-0. It will be Rob to take us through to full time.
Yeah, cheers, Jet. I'm just wondering if there's one or two Everton players who continue to flatter to deceive, really. Calvert-Lewin obviously missing that chance, that good chance for Everton in the first half. Hasn't really shown up in the second. Alex Iwobi, Arsenal were prepared to let him go. I think this is a big move for him, really. Alex Iwobi, I suppose he saw more game time last season than perhaps previous campaigns, but sooner or later people are going to stop talking about potential and demand results as Jack Grealish gets back to help out Taylor. They dispossess Richarlison, and Villa clear it up to the halfway line, but Wesley's come from an offside position, and that will be a free kick to Everton. This game seems to have turned again, more like the start of the game, where Everton bossing possession and territory. But at the moment, that final pass, it's not even the final pass, really. They're just shooting themselves in the foot time and time again. But there is still time to win it. 70 minutes on the clock. They have possession high up the pitch with Schneiderlin. All barring Wesley behind the ball for Villa. It's been like that for a long time now. And Everton are huffing and puffing without really testing the heating, other than perhaps corners, as it's floated out to the left-hand side. Pulled back to Alex Iwobi, takes a touch. It takes all the sting out of it. Easy for Heaton. And that's a comfortable claim. That's as lively as it's been in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Digne, you feel he's going to create something for Everton. It's great technique to pick out Iwobi there. Click ball over the top. Digne finds the Nigerian, who takes one touch with his right foot, smashes it goalwards with his left, but can't get the ball past Engels and makes it another good block. You mentioned about Villa being a bit reticent to go forward and get that second goal. For me, they look a bit deep at the moment. They need to push themselves another 5-10 yards up, because since Everton have made that change, bringing two men up front, they are getting deeper and deeper and just inviting pressure.
Ball over the top looking for Wesley, and he has stayed onside and got there ahead of Mina. That looked like it might have been a battle developing between those two. Hasn't quite materialised that. That, as a hospital pass from Jota, actually works out for Grealish. And he's just on the left of the D, clips it out to Taylor, left edge, fires it across over the 6-yard box. It's out of play for a throw-in. It's probably the one time we've seen Taylor get forward, and he really should do better.
He should do better. I've got a degree of sympathy for him, though, because there's a bit of luck, but I think Grealish should have given it to him, like, now as we're looking at our pitches. He delayed. That allowed Taylor, who's going forward, so his options getting less and less. And in the end, the ball well over the top. Everton making a bit of a mess of clearing it, though, and it's Hotter on the ball. Yeah,
down the right side near the corner flag, the Villa right, that is, and the ball's actually come off him last, and it will be a throw in to Everton on the corner flag. They're left. Digne's trying to steal a few yards. It's as always the case, and he might have made 15 there before he launches it down the line. Calvert-Lewin heads it infield, but Grealish gets the second ball. Engels almost caught in possession, just manages to feed it across to Taylor. Bit of space to run into, and he's closed down by by Keane rather. He's caught by Keane just as he was releasing it to Trezeguet, and it will be a free kick. Keane looks displeased with the decision, but it is an opportunity for Villa. We haven't seen many of these in the second half, or indeed the game. I still don't think they've won a corner yet, Aston Villa, but it's a free kick, maybe 20 yards from goal, 3 or 4 outside the left edge of the 18-yard box. They've got Trezeguet and Grealish standing over it. Plenty of conversation between those two. 73 minutes on the clock, so late in the game. A second goal for Villa, you would think, would wrap up their first points of the season. It's actually taken low towards the near post. It looked like Mings and Engels were saying, just put it up their far post. That's the opposite of what was happening.
It was Digne and Gomez at the back post, wasn't it? And there's only going to be, well, 2 winners, I suppose, in that situation. But yeah, it was disappointing. And Villa's, in truth, their delivery's been poor all night.
It's Everton breaking down the left-hand side. Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin trying to combine, and they've just about kept it in. Richarlison is forced to go back, though, to Digne, but time and space. picks out Grealish in the D. Another disappointing ball. Early ball out towards Wesley. He's just always arcing away for the big striker who couldn't turn and keep his balance. He was hoping for one over the top, but in the end it was just pulled to the left hand side and he couldn't keep it in. 16 minutes left plus injury time at Villa Park. Independent Off-Tube Studio commentary of a clash that sees Villa in front. They have been leading for some time now as Everton trying to respond, really huffing and puffing. I've said time and time again, Tom Heaton's not had much to do. Ball in from Digne, headed away by Mings, then further cleared by Luis. Digne should get there first. He and Coleman have arguably been Everton's two best players, as Mina has it on the halfway line. Gomez again has dropped deep. Digne the outlet on the left hand side, but not making the run this time. Finds Gomez, now Iwobi, who slips it for down the channel for the run that wasn't being made, and he chases his own ball, but it's going to cross the goal line. That'll be a goal kick. Yeah, Everton breaking down again. We're going to see a third and final change being made by Everton. Who's your money on? Theo Walcott's coming on.
Well, I got it totally wrong the last time, so he's not going to take Richarlison off, is he? So it's got to be Calvert-Lewin, I think. Or does he push Iwobi inside and take one of Gomez and Schneiderlin off? Could be one of a few. Walcott, I guess, would go wide right. That's Richarlison's position. Like I said, I don't think he'll take him off. Looks like Anwar Ghazi's going to be coming on as well for Villa. They're yet to make a change, but this will be everything, all cards on the table for Marco Silva. Third and final change.
Calvert-Lewin wins a free kick just outside the centre circle, taken quickly. Time's a factor now for the Toffees as Iwobi has Digne on the overlap. Back inside to Gomez. Again, all barring Wesley behind the ball. He stayed downfield for Villa, trying to offer that outlet. Villa just aren't seeing too much of the ball. As Iwobi's found a pocket of space, sets Digne away down the left-hand side, gets to the byline, crosses deep towards the far post. It's at the back of Richarlison, missed kick by Mings, an overhead kick attempted by two players. Heaton spilled it, manages just to push it behind for a corner. That was a comedy of errors, really, and it's led to an Everton set piece. We've talked about their threat. They have had a couple of opportunities from corner kicks. Yerry Mina up for the back. Richarlison wanted to take that quick. I'd wait for Mina to get up there if I was him.
But we've mentioned it before, they're so deep, aren't they? And they're inviting pressure at the moment. Everton had got all pretty much the freedom of the pitch until the edge of the area, and you feel it's going to tell eventually.
Corner's going to be an away swinger from the right hand side. I think Theo Walcott's still waiting to come on. Richarlison with the delivery, and it wasn't challenged, only cleared to the edge of the deep curler, attempted by Schneiderlin. Not renowned for his goal scoring, couldn't keep it down, and that's behind for a goal kick. So a chance for Everton to make that third and final change. It's definitely Theo Walcott coming on, but it might be El Ghazi who's entering the fray, and he's coming on first for Jota. And so Villa have gone back to, I suppose, the players that they've been using, certainly the forward players in the first couple of games. Yeah, I quite like Jota's involvement in the first half. He's not quite done it in the second.
Gone quiet in the second, as he had maybe a bit of fatigue, not playing much football recently. Saw him a few times with Birmingham, thought he was a handy player, and he's continued that for me. Whether he's going to have win games for Villa, I'm not quite sure, but at the same time, he's certainly a really handy man to have around.
Yeah, fresh legs on the flank. It's Richarlison who's made way for Theo Walcott. Could have mentioned one or two, so that's three changes made by Everton. Villa just the one.
Villa are starting to live on the nerves a bit. They're inviting pressure very deep at the moment. They still lead 1-0. However, they found themselves, or almost found themselves, in big trouble a few moments ago. They were so deep, the ball was pumped into the box. Mings missed his kick from underneath the crossbar, just about got back to clear the ball. Then it fell to Tom Heaton. He dropped it, but he went out for a corner kick in the end. Everton have made that third and final change as Wesley now just breaks inside the box, tries to go past Michael Keane. It breaks down, it comes to Douglas Luiz, who looks excellent in the midfield this evening, although I thought he'd got himself caught up in a bit of trouble there. Went to ground, maybe got stood on his hand for his trouble. I was a bit worried for Douglas Luiz then.
Yeah, Moise Keane, the man who's guilty of pulling him back. He certainly got him once, and then he got a kick on the ankles as well. I don't think there's any real complaints from Moise Keane. As I was wondering if Calvert-Lewin's going to get into trouble here. Of course, he's already on a yellow. And there was he was guilty of fouling. He had possession but then was eased off it, and he just dragged down his opposite number, and the referee played the advantage because Villa took the quick free kick. Ball is played into the box by Grealish, headed into towards the penalty spot by Engels. He still haven't quite cleared their lines. He's back in towards Engels, very tight angle and taking no chances. Gomez puts it behind, although was Engels offside? Yes, so it will be a free kick to the Toffees anyway.
Heading towards the final stages of this game, and Villa are riding the luck a bit actually. They're sitting very, very deep, inviting pressure. Everton almost had a really good chance. The ball was put into the Villa box. Tyrone Mings totally missed his kick around about 6 yards out, central position. Then it fell to Tom Heaton. He spilled the ball, just about went out for a corner kick. Everton have now made their 3 changes. Theo Walcott's come on for Richarlison, which was a bit of a surprise move. Anwar El-Ghazi's also come on for Aston Villa in place of Hotter, who worked really hard. Villa look like they're heading for their first victory, but need to be careful at the moment.
Andre Gomez has just picked up a yellow card, conceded a free kick, and then wouldn't let Villa take it quickly. Whether Villa wanted to take it quickly, not 100% convinced, but Gomez wouldn't let them, and so he's joined Calvert-Lewin in the book. Of course, Gilbert picked up an early yellow card, the only Villa player on a warning at the moment. So it's a diagonal ball out towards Trezeguet, who does win the header, but it's just glanced off the top of his head and goes out of play for an Everton throw deep inside their own half. Into the final 10 minutes plus injury time. Long ball from Gomez, headed away by Mings. Taylor, I think, is kept it in and cleared it back into the Everton half. Cleared by Keane only as far as Louise on the halfway line, and Grealish is attacking down the left-hand side, taking Walcott with him. Good ball from McGinn, a 1-2 with Wesley. He's just forced Trezeguet a little bit wide, but the Egyptian has kept it in. Wants an option, it's McGinn, now Grealish running into the box, 10 yards out, is struggling for a little bit of room, just plays it back towards Trezeguet, who theatrically goes down under a challenge from Iwobi. I don't think it was a penalty, but he didn't win the free kick either, and now it's Everton on the attack. Moise Keane down the left-hand side, good challenge comes in from Gilbert on a yellow card. Swift counter from Everton, and they're back on the front foot. Penalty?
No, definitely not. Yeah, it was one of those where Trezeguet knew the ball was good away from him, and he theatrically was the perfect way to I think if we'd have been in the stadium, I think we would have heard him scream the way he went down there, arms up in the air and everything.
Lucas Digne with a long throw into the box. Keane just about beaten in the air at the near post twice by Engels. Iwobi's picked up the loose ball, though, 35 yards from goal. Is bringing it forward to Mina on the edge of the box. The lay back to Gomez, still 35 yards out. Walcott on the right, back inside to Iwobi. Now Gomez a little bit closer, standing up to the far post. Schneiderlin heads it down, running onto it is Iwobi. Shot on the turn, it's hit the post, and then it's collected by Mings, who shows a cool head. His clearance is then blocked. Mina pumps it in towards the far post as they're coming together, and Gilbert's come on the end of it. Moise Keane going for the overhead has actually just clattered Gilbert, and that will be a free kick to Aston Villa. I don't think there was any malice attempted meant by Keane, but obviously a let-off for Villa as the post struck.
Yeah, ball watching, wasn't it, by Villa? No one was tracking Iwobi's run at all, and just gets a right-footed touch and then slams it with his left foot. Good finish it would have been. I don't think Tom Heaton's getting there. He's scrambling across the goalkeeper. Jack Grealish tries to block it. The goalkeeper's not getting there. It's a fine effort by Iwobi. Very unfortunate.
Yeah, of course, if he tried to clear straight away, Tyrone Mings, his clearance might have been blocked into the back of the net by Calvert-Lewin, who's thrown himself in front. I was going to say he's showing a cool head, but when he did eventually try and clear it, it was blocked back into the mixer. Everton unable to quite fashion a clearer opportunity, and of course Keenan then fouled Gilbert. Everton coming on strong though at the end. It's taken a while in the second half, but looking dangerous once again. That's a poor touch from Calvert-Lewin though, as they're looking a little bit ragged, Aston Villa though. Here's McGinn for the home side, holds it up, finds Wesley, is allowed to turn by Michael Keane goes infield, and El Ghazi tries his luck from distance, and that's parried away by Jordan Pickford, fully 30 yards out, the Villa substitute. He has hit the target. Arguably that's the first one in the second half.
Yeah, good direct play by Anwar El Ghazi. Gets towards goal and strikes it well. I think Pickford has been safety first, really palming it away, out for a throw-in on this near side.
Yeah, and Taylor was in no rush to take it. Just over 6 minutes left plus injury time. Coleman's won it back off Trezeguet, who was then blocked Coleman's clearance. Will Gomez get a yellow card for... Sorry, it's like what Gomez did. It's led to a little bit of a coming together. And again, Wesley looks like he means business. Mina's come across. This is the heavyweight battle again. His initial target, Wesley, was somebody else, but Mina's perhaps trying to protect his man. I think Trezeguet is making an absolute meal of this one. He was blocking a free kick, so that's a yellow card, isn't it?
Well, it's good that the coolest man in amongst it all is Michael Oliver, who's just kind of let everyone sort out between themselves. He's got a yellow card out for... he's pointing towards someone. We'll have a look. The card's been out pretty much since the incident originated. I think Trezeguet will be one of those recipients, as will Seamus Coleman. He was off the ball, so we didn't really see much in it. But I think Michael Oliver is going to book both Trezeguet and Seamus Coleman just under the pretense that they were the instigators, I suppose.
Yeah, it seems a little bit harsh on Coleman, if you ask me. He was clipped once, then he tried to take a quick free kick. I suppose you could argue that he's made sure he's kicked Trezeguet as well. There is that. But obviously Trezeguet is meant to have retreated 10 yards or so, but he didn't anyway. It's done and dusted. We're into the last 5, as I think that's the last involvement for Trezeguet. He's just offering the applause to the fans, and it's El Mohammadi who's coming on in his place. He's not afraid of getting forward, but you would say this is a defensive move.
Yeah, these days he's more of a right back, isn't he? El Mohammadi signed a new contract this week as well, so he'll be having lost his place, he'll be desperate to be on the winning side, even if it's just for the next probably 7 or 8, maybe 9 minutes now.
Yeah, it might offer Gilbert a little bit more protection defensively should Everton wish to attack down that left hand side. Digne has been an outlet throughout the game, really, as Mina offers a diagonal the other way, and Theo Walcott, who hasn't really made much of an impression since coming on, finds Schneidlin. Now Gomez clips it out to Digne, but that's a good header from El Mohammadi back in field, cleared away by Engels up to the halfway line. Mina has it, Everton back in possession, control possession as well. Having possession in this sort of area of the pitch has not been a problem. It's further downfield that the issues come. That's a good ball though from Schneidlin out to Coleman on the right, infield to Walcott. It's allowed to turn by El Ghazi. Cross is deflected up in the air, and that'll make it easy for Heaton, who offers some applause for his 2 central defenders there, Engels and Mings.
Game really in the depths now. It's still Villa 1, Everton 0. Last time I was with you, I said that Villa had ridden their luck somewhat, and they are still riding it. Alex Iwobi's hit the post. A good effort it was by the Nigerian. He was afforded some space by just pure ball watching, really, by the Aston Villa defence. He totally switched off as he floated into the box. He picked up the seconds, one touch with his right, left-footed effort, slammed against the post. Tom Heaton was scrambling. I don't think he would have got there, and it would have been 1-1. Anwar El Ghazi just had an effort saved by Jordan Pickford. I've got a feeling, though, most of the action in the closing stages is going to be in front of Aston Villa's goal, but it's still they who lead 1-0.
Yeah, Everton high up the pitch. Schneidlin goes down for Coleman. That looks to be a little bit heavy. Can Coleman get there? He can. His cross, though, is well read by Luis, who's able to take a touch before clearing, although Keane beats Wesley to the ball. Wesley tries to put Keane under pressure. That's Michael Keane, and Keane's done really well, though Walcott hasn't. Took a touch, didn't really get it out from under his feet, and his cross is weak into the near post. Might have taken a deflection, but it's through to Heaton, and there's 2 minutes left. Plus injury time, of course, for Villa to hold on for. Keep saying they're dropping deep and are under pressure, but still Tom Heaton hasn't done an awful lot, so the defenders are doing enough. For you could argue Everton's forwards are not. El Ghazi has it at the right end of the pitch as far as Villa are concerned. Support comes to Louise, although going away from goal. Now it's with Taylor. Oh, nice composure from him. Grealish allowed to turn edge of the box. He's got El Ghazi on the overlap, driving into his right foot. Shot takes the deflection. Oh, just over the bar with Pickford going the wrong way. This will be Aston Villa's first corner, I believe. Offside given anyway, so it won't be. And a bit of pinball there. Ultimately, doesn't really matter. Is he offside? Yes, he is, just about.
Yeah, Wesley not showing too much intention of getting back on side. He goes for goal. It was a nice effort. Second as well. Michael Keane didn't know too much about it. Hit his shoulders. He was just about turning away. The goalkeeper would have been wrong-footed, but as you rightly say, Rob, offside.
Yes, maybe it's not even a shoulder or anything like that. Oh, ball into the box. Keane's got in behind Engels. Has he got a teammate on the turn across towards the far post? Oh, it's stabbed over the bar by Theo Walcott. I want to give him an excuse. Was he stretching? It was on the volley, but he's not under any pressure. It was well played by Everton. Their best chance of the second half. Walcott has missed.
It's inexcusable, that, isn't it, really? Good play by Keane. Walcott's an acres of space. He's looking at the goal. Everything looks right. But again, a bit like Calvert-Lewin, he takes it with his side foot. Should he have put his laces through that one, Rob?
He could have even taken a touch. Both, I think it was Taylor sucked in. He was just drawn by Iwobi. And he could have taken a touch, if you ask me. Having said that, he's 7-8 yards out on the volley, on his right foot. He clearly was confident enough to strike it. I don't think that's going to win him a starting place next time out, though. As would you believe, there's an Aston Villa injury as 90 minutes is just about ticking over. Quick look at the next fixtures, of course. Villa are heading for their first Premier League win in 15, 14 to I think it'll be the. Yeah, they have had a couple of pieces, but they probably haven't done enough in anybody's book, really. Just looking quickly ahead, of course it's away trips in the League Cup next week. Villa at Crewe and Everton at Lincoln. I wonder if I'd send the same team out for if I was Marco Silva to give them a lesson. We're into 5 minutes of stoppage time. We have had a minute, but there was a little bit of treatment, so I don't think there'll be blowing a whistle bang on 95. And the next league fixtures, Villa back on the road away at Palace. That's winnable, given the way that Palace have started this season. Everton have got Wolverhampton Wanderers back at Goodison. So Wolves, of course, made a decent start to the season, certainly in Europe. I came away with some plaudits against Manchester United, of course, having drawn their opening game. But anyway, focusing on the last 3.5 minutes of this particular game. Villa at the right end of the pitch. McGinn breaking down the right hand side, is happy to take the throw in off Digne. Ball boy's gone missing for Aston Villa for this throw in. Wesley has been given the man of the match award.
Someone's got to get it, Rob.
Someone has got to get it. I'm not sure I'd give it to him.
He's the match winner. I think
offside given against El Ghazi.
Villa have been, I think maybe Mings or Engels, Villa have been pretty much 7 out of 10, 6, 7 out of 10 across the field, and from an Everton point of view, no one's really stood up and really grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck.
No, I mean, arguably I'd give it to one of the fullbacks if I was picking an Everton man of the match out. Yeah, Villa, I think this has been a decent team performance. I mean, Heaton wouldn't get in because he's done nothing as Everton still push for an equaliser. Cleared away by Louise. Wesley gives chase. Keane beats him to the ball. Coleman under pressure though from El Ghazi. Can't get it down the line. Has won a throw in. Halfway inside the Villa half. Steals a few yards as well. And Coleman Takes a short one to Gomez, gets it back. Actually in the box, there's only one to aim for. It's played shorter to Iwobi. Slight misjudgment for El Mohammadi. Digne on the overlap, just on the about 20 yards from goal. But he's got two ahead of him, checks back. They were taking the time about this. Gomez from a central position tries to switch play, finds Keane. That's Michael Keane out to Walcott, into the middle. A shot on the turn from Digne and his weaker right foot, couldn't keep it down. And that's over the bar again. Heaton not worked. But why is the fullback taking a shot? There's all these blue shirts in there.
It's not, again, with conviction. There's nothing in it from Walcott. He's just putting it into an area. It bounces off one of the Villa players. And Digne, he's on the wrong foot. He's lovely left foot, not so good on his right. And skies it over the bar.
Yeah, first win beckons for Dean Smith. A clean sheet as well, and I thought they wouldn't keep a clean sheet today, so tells you what I know. Oh, it certainly gives an indication of how Everton have played. They've missed two very good chances, there's no denying it. On other days they would have scored those 2 goals and might have even got one from a corner, but they've just not quite been at the races today for whatever reason. Maybe it's a Friday night football, they don't like it, as it's cleared downfield by Villa. Wesley gives a chase, just time off the clock, he has possession, absolutely no support. Although here's McGinn, he's been full of running from out of midfield. Support's arriving from El Ghazi as well, tries to knock it past Gomez, keep it to beat. He's beaten the keeper, that has sealed the victory for Aston Villa. El Ghazi, the second half substitute, another lovely move. Held up by Wesley, well played McGinn, and a tidy finish from El Ghazi.
Game, set and match. Aston Villa, they lead 2-0. It's substitute Anwar El Ghazi who's got the goal. He's had a couple of long-range efforts, not really tested Jordan Pickford, but he's sealed the points. It's been all Everton. Luca Dean has just gone over the crossbar, but this was a great counter-attacking goal. Fantastic play by Wesley, holding it up. He found the on-rushing John McGinn. McGinn bided his time. Jack Grealish wanted it, but it was Anwar El Ghazi who took the ball off his skipper's toes and slotted it under Jordan Pickford to make it 2-0 to Aston Villa, and the points are staying in Birmingham.
Yeah, a little nutmeg as well on Gomez, but that has sealed the points. Good day for Aston Villa. 2 goals and of course a clean sheet. We are into actually the 6th minute of stoppage time, but there's Villa found out last week you get punished for mistakes or vice versa, not taking chances. Well, Everton know that, haven't taken a couple of big chances today. Aston Villa have. Is at the last kick of the game. The match has just restarted. We've had 6 minutes of stoppage time, just going into the 7th. Coleman wants an option on the halfway line, but well, that is it. The referees had enough. Aston Villa, decent value for a 2-goal scoreline, maybe a fraction flattering, but on the
Right, so it's full time. It's finished 2-0 to Aston Villa. So we'll look at the league table in a second. We're just going to look at the match stats. But Wesley and El Ghazi with the goals. We're just going to look at the match stats. So match stats: 64% possession for Everton, 36% for Aston Villa, 12 shots for Everton, 7 for Villa, 3 on target for Villa, 1 for Everton, and 6 corners for Everton, 0 for Villa. But there's around 10 people in the stream now. If you're not subscribed and you want to see more Everton and Aston Villa live streams, hit the subscribe button. We're going to be doing loads in the future, most likely, but we're going to look at the league table now. So Aston Villa go up to 12th with that win. They could still be in the relegation zone, I believe, at the end of the week, but doubt it. And then Everton are 9th. So that's the table there. Thomas says, why has it gone off? Because the game's finished. But we have had a couple of subs, so Faze_4D, thank you for subscribing, shout out to you. And Max Radford, thank you for subscribing, shout out to you. We've gained 7 subscribers today, which is pretty decent. hopefully we can do more tomorrow. We'll be doing 3 streams. On Saturday we have got 12:30. I'm either going to do Derby West Brom or Norwich Chelsea. I haven't decided yet. I'll decide tomorrow morning, and then we're going to be doing either Sheffield United Leicester or Watford West Ham, and then we're going to be doing Liverpool Arsenal. So we have 3 streams tomorrow. I'm going to end the stream now, so thanks